Veteran housing is something that we can all support. In fact, we all do with our tax dollars.
Well, the state spent $250,000 setting up 5 homes for veterans, renovating them top to bottom, fully furnishing them, and making sure they're all ready to go. So why are the News 8 investigators finding them empty? Here's Chief Investigator David Iverson, who went digging for answers. David?
That's right, guys. 5 houses, 15 bedrooms. But right now, tonight, only 1 veteran is staying in any of them. And the state doesn't have a good answer as to why.
I gave him 9 years, 3 tours of duty. Each tour was 3 years. Faithfully. To come home to this.
Back home and on the streets. It's a familiar story for Connecticut veterans. According to statistics, on any given night, 1 in 10 of the more than 3,000 homeless served in the military.
It's not only a slap in the face, it's a stab in the back, it's a crushing of the heart.
That included this Vietnam veteran, who up until just a few weeks ago was living in the streets of New Haven. We agreed to hide his identity because he is now living in publicly assisted housing. It wasn't his first choice. He applied to stay at veteran facilities, but the Section 8 acceptance came first. He says he was still on the list to get into state-run facilities.
For shelter, we got turned away, talking about no funding. We put on a list.
And he's not the only one. This veteran says he was getting ready to spend the night on the New Haven Green.
When it comes to housing, the wait list is even longer than it is to get on Section 8 housing.
From the state agency meant to oversee veterans, no place for these service members. So why then are these houses set up for veterans sitting empty? Sitting empty so long, this house has cobwebs on the front door.
They haven't actually been empty.
Okay, not empty, not all of them anyway. There is 1 veteran staying in one of these houses among the 15 fully furnished bedrooms in the 5 fully furnished homes.
Since I started in 2001, have been empty the whole time.
Herb Mitchell is a former Department of Veteran Affairs employee and veteran. He says he watched for years as these houses sat idle.
I'm angry. I'm frustrated because I know that there's women with children. I know that there's veterans throughout the homeless shelters, which are at their max, that cannot have a decent place to live.
Originally, this was staff housing, one of the perks that came with working for the Connecticut VA. When that program was abandoned, so were these homes. Here they sat until just a few years ago. Connecticut Department of Veteran Affairs Commissioner Linda Schwartz collected donations from groups across the state. They were thrilled to show off the furnished houses and have veterans living in them, specifically veterans returning from Iraq and Afghanistan.
I look forward to having this as a new resource that can actually feed into and assist these folks. Almost 20% of the military today are women veterans, and many of them are single parents.
All told, these houses cost Connecticut taxpayers $250,000 in a state bond, not to mention the cost of all those donations. The houses have stayed fully furnished, the heat and power has stayed on, but the veterans never came, not in any large numbers anyway. In 2011, they housed 1 veteran. In 2012, they housed 4 veterans, some just for a single month. And in all of 2013, just 2 veterans for all these houses.
For single veterans, it's just not where it's at for them.
Schwartz says it's not that the houses are not open, it's that the rules are too strict. Returning veterans don't like that the state bans drinking in the houses.
The ones that we have had, the families, it's worked out very well.
You're up against a wall. And the wall is the state. The wall is the Veterans Affairs. They're all on top of the wall looking down upon you.
Schwartz says plans are in the works to change things and get more veterans in these houses.
It just breaks my heart, a place to live. I mean, after they did so much for this country and, for us to turn our back on them.
In the meantime, groups like Jesse Hardy's Homeless Outreach are working to help veterans, along with anyone else living out here in any way they can.
They eating with us, we breaking bread with them, we hugging them. We just showing them that we love them.
Now, just today, we took a look at the commissioner's calendar with the Freedom of Information Act. In January, she had 5 meetings about these houses. During that interview, she told our producer that there is a plan in the works. Currently, they are taking referrals to get more people inside these houses. That's something we've heard before, though. We'll keep an eye to see if that happens. Darren, in.
All right, David, thank you. Well, if you have something you'd like the News 8 investigators to look into, just call our investigators tip line. That number is there, 203-402-TIP-8.